The word for you today, it's Saturday, weekend. Hope you're having a good weekend. Practice saying no to yourself. You know, when you first read that, I'm thinking, what could this be about? Well, in 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8, Peter says, be self-controlled and alert. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, looking for someone to devour. Peter is telling believers to recognize that there's a war going on, and they need to be vigilant, they need to be alert, they need to be watching. He says, be self-controlled, or be sober. Has the idea of being clear-minded, be calm and collected, not allowing anything to cause us to not think clearly, whether it be intoxicating, using drugs or alcohol, or a lust for something that would cloud our thinking, or even stress. But keep a clear mind so that we can see things objectively. It says, be self-controlled, be sober. And he says, and be alert. Alert has the idea of anticipating. It's like you're crossing this stream and there are these rocks. And if you step just on each rock every so often, you can get across the stream without getting wet. But on each rock, there's moss growing on it. Now, if you're not alert and you're not really careful, your foot can slip on that rock, and then your whole body's going to be in the stream, not just a foot. Alert has the idea of looking and seeing what things are. You're watching that rock. You know it can be slippery. You're taking your time each step. Satan might leave us alone for a little while to give us a false security, thinking, we don't have anything to worry about. And just when we close our eyes and we're not looking, boom, he hits. We're told to be alert because the enemy's plan is to take us down. But we're also told not to fear the enemy. We don't have to fear the enemy. Why? Because greater is he who is in us than he that is in the world. So we're told to be self-controlled or sober. Be alert. Our enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. A lion can go up to 4 feet tall. I mean, he's on all 4 feet, all 4 legs, stand up 4 feet tall, can weigh up to 600 pounds, can run at 20 feet per bound. He can run the equivalent of 100 yards in 5 seconds. That's a football field. In 5 seconds, he can go from one end zone to the other. Lion roars. Why do they roar? Well, could be talking to other lions, but oftentimes it's to cast fear in their prey. And if they can get their prey to be paralyzed by fear, it makes their job even easier catching them. And then they look to attack the weak ones, those who are paralyzed by fear. One of the best ways to be alert is to constantly be aware of what's going on around us. What areas in your life can you not say no to? For some people, it's a cup of coffee. For some, it's chocolate. For some, it's maybe a hamburger. I don't know. What area in your life can you not say no to? That is the area where we're weak at. And that's the area that our enemy will strike at us. Don't give the enemy a stronghold or an opening to attack us. Sometimes it's good to be able to say no to something that we really want, just to show that we're strong enough to do that. The ancient sport of falconry, they took trained hawks or falcons in the pursuit of wild game. And what they would do is they would take a hawk or a falcon out and they would turn it loose and it would go searching and they would watch it and that would lead them to what they're hunting for. But sometimes the falcon or the hawk would go so high that they couldn't see him with their human eye. So the hunters would have a little cage and they'd have this little bird called a shrike. They have this shrike in this little cage. And what they would do is they would watch that shrike. Now the shrike was deathly afraid of hawks and falcons because they were predators and they would come and get the shrike and kill them. So the shrike would always turn his head so that he could see where the hawk or the falcon was. Even though the human could not see it, the shrike could. And as he turned his head, the hunter just watched to see which direction the shrike was turning his head, and he would know where the falcon or the hawk was. Well, it's the same way. We're called to always have our eye open, always watching, not for the hawk or the falcon, but for the enemy. Staying alert, not being taken advantage of, not being caught unaware. The times when we're most vulnerable are those things that we will not say no to. So if you have something that you cannot possibly say no to, that's an area. It's an area where you can fall. Today, maybe practice and say no to something that you really, really want, just to show yourself that you can. And let the enemy know you're not going to be easily taken in. Have a nice weekend.